to this month's episode of Community Corner. In this series, we focus on great work being done by wonderful people and organizations in Northern Nevada, which make this region such a wonderful place to live and work. I'm Angelica Reyes, your host, and today I'm here with Sophie Butler, the Community Projects Manager with Keep Truckee Meadows Beautiful. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. We're really excited to join you.
Well, tell us a little bit about the history behind KTMB.
Keep Truckee Meadows Beautiful is a 501c3 nonprofit that's dedicated to creating a more sustainable and beautiful region through education, waste reduction, and active community involvement. And that actually all started 30 years ago. So back in 1989, the Biggest Little City Committee created the Western Nevada Clean Communities Subcommittee in an effort to tackle one of the biggest issues that they saw in the area, which was keeping it clean and removing the blight that trash and litter was causing on our city. Very quickly, they realized how impactful programs like that are to the community, and they decided that the Western Nevada Clean Communities wasn't enough. They needed to have their own organization that was separate from the Biggest Little City Committee, and thus Keep Truckee Meadows Beautiful was born that year. And from that point forward, everything has grown pretty steadily over the last 30 years. Our flagship Adopt a Park program became known as Adopt a Spot, and we were able to incorporate way more local areas into our efforts. But we did also start KTMB's Christmas tree recycling program in 1993, and that program has happened every single winter from after Christmas until the beginning of January. At this point, we recycle on average 10,000 trees every winter. Another focus that we have at some of these events is graffiti removal, and that led to us working with the city of Reno, and this was back in 1997, to start a graffiti removal hotline, and that actually ended up evolving into what people now know as Reno Direct. So we're not involved in that now, but that was sort of the seed that started that whole process. And it also ended up being the motivation for us creating our illegal dumping hotline in partnership with Washoe County Sheriff's Office. So
Wow.
if people come across illegal dump sites when they're out in the open space and public lands that we have surrounding our community, they can report the illegal dump sites so we can get the ball rolling on getting those illegal dump sites removed and properly disposed of.
Wow, it sounds like there's just so many different projects that we have within our community through your organization. I do want to touch a little bit about some of your events that you have coming up. Mm-hmm. I really like the idea that you have, what you said earlier, 600 volunteers coming out, and is it May?
Yes. Yeah. So on May 1st, we have our annual Great Community Cleanup, which we've been doing for the last 16 years. The first one was back in 2006. And we work sort of as a middleman for our municipal partners. So we work with Reno, Sparks, Washoe County, BLM, the Forest Service, the Nature Conservancy, and they tell me what projects they need to be done, and I help gather together all of the resources, all of the tools, all of the volunteers, the dumpsters, and we get everyone out there on May 1st at 20 to 25 different locations, and we get all of that work done in one big swoop.
Now, some new programs that I want to talk about is some of the education programs that you have. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about that.
So I love all of the programs with volunteers that I plan, but I sometimes think of them as their reactive programs, where if we really want to be creating a more sustainable and beautiful region, we really need to be proactive in the work that we're doing. And that's where I see education being a huge piece of the puzzle, by teaching our local students and businesses and clubs how they can make changes in their lives to better improve the long-term sustainability of our region is what's really going to make long-lasting change. Mm-hmm. And one of the ways we've been doing that for a really long time is with our recycling guides. So we direct local residents to the businesses that will help get rid of their hard to get rid of items. So, furniture, clothing, hazardous waste like paints and car fluids. And we make sure that everyone knows where they can take those items so they're not ending up being dumped in the desert or taking up unnecessary space in our landfill.
I do want to talk a little bit about the businesses. Now, you mentioned there's several businesses that participate in this. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that, like the certification or involvement that a business could actually come in and be a part of that?
There's a few different tiers they can become certified at. And then at any of those tiers, they're going to be featured on the Nevada Green Business Directory. And from there, consumers can go and find them on there. If they're wanting to make sure that the hair salon they're going to supports the same values for sustainability that they do, they can go to the Nevada Green Business Directory and type in hair salons, and they'll be able to see who in the area is sustainable that they can support. So we're working with so many different businesses to get them certified right now, and hopefully in a year or so we'll have a really built out directory of green businesses that all of our local residents can continue to support.
That's wonderful. It's like a win-win for a business owner. They can participate, give back to their community, help grow their business at the same time, and be a part of something really awesome. I really like that. How could somebody get involved if, let's say they're not a business, they're just an individual person that wants to volunteer and get involved? What do you have for somebody like that?
So truthfully, there's always some sort of way for local residents to get involved with us. If you have even just a group being your family that wants to go out and do a cleanup, you can reach out to us and we'll help find you a park that needs some love in your area, and we'll give you all of the supplies, and you can go out and do your own little personal cleanup in even your backyard, like trails that run through your neighborhood. All of those areas need some attention every now and then. If you have a club that wants to do something on a little larger scale, we'll be able to find a good fit for that as well. And all of our local residents are invited to participate in our annual events like Christmas tree recycling and our great community cleanup and the Truckee River cleanup. We're always looking to have our volunteer spots filled, obviously, because without our volunteers, this work for our local parks isn't going to get done. And even if there aren't volunteering opportunities that are available to someone, they can't make it out for whatever reason, another great way to support us is just through making a small donation. We operate entirely on either donations or help from local businesses and grants. So that type of help will go a long way. It might end up buying another few pickers for us so we can have volunteers going out and cleaning up our areas safely.
So where can our viewers check out this information one more time? Phone number, website?
If you want to go to KTMB.org, you'll be able to find all of this information that I just shared. You'll be able to find our recycling guide, information on signing up to volunteer, and you can also find our blog posts where we share tons of different information about how you can live more sustainably in our beautiful Truckee Meadows region.
Well, that's it for this month's episode of Community Corner. Please make sure you tune in next week when we have a special edition of To The Point episode coming your way. Also, make sure you follow us on our YouTube channel, RSAR Realtors. Subscribe so you never miss an episode. And remember, together we can make a difference.